Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this Lenovo ThinkPad T480. Alright, we're going to be upgrading this to an SSD. I actually cloned the hard drive to the SSD already. First thing we're going to do, flip this over of course, and then remove the battery. So to do that, there's these two tabs, just pull them to the side. This one stays locked, this one is spring loaded. So you hold this and then use your fingernail or a plastic pry tool, or if you can grip this, just slide it back like that. Okay. And there we go, we got the first battery out. So this battery, is there a model number on it? There's this part number here. You can probably just search T480 battery, but here you can see SB10K97581. All right, so I believe that's the part number. There's also this other FRU part number, 01AV424. Okay, there's a 2060 mAh battery. We're gonna set that aside. Alright, next thing we're going to do, we got to get all the screws out. Oh, and if you're wondering, there's this little hole here. This is actually for a battery kind of reset thing. Alright, you can use like a folded out paper clip or something to kind of get in there and click that button. Sometimes if the computer doesn't turn on right, that helps if you press and hold that for about 15 seconds. Alright. And then there's these little drain holes. If you spill liquid in the keyboard, it'll actually drain out. You don't want to flip the computer over, just let it drain through. Okay, we're going to use a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver to undo all the screws. Alright, you want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths, assuming some of the screws come out. These ones seem to stay in place. Alright, if this video helps you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, so once we undo all these screws, if I remember correctly, this model, it's kind of a pain to get this piece out. And I'm probably going to have to use my metal tool to get that out. But let's see if we can get the front parts out first. So I'm going to rotate it this way. I'm going to get my fingernails in this gap here, okay? And then I'm going to use my thumb to push on the back. And let's see if we can unclip the latches. Okay, it looks like it's working. There we go. So just like that, we got that out. Okay, we're going to rotate it to the side and check if these clips are all out. Okay, same thing. I push with my thumb here and pull with my fingernails, basically rotating it like this. Going to go to the other side over here, check this as well. And looks like these are all out. Okay, now we got to get this piece out and then the clips along the back here where the battery goes. Okay, so we're gonna continue going over, same thing, same idea, just kind of pulling, getting your fingernails in there or plastic pry tool. This one, the clips, it looks like the clips latch over this way, so the thing goes under and it latches like this. So we have to slide this piece this way so that it goes out past the latch, and then when you lift it, it can come out, okay? So what we're gonna do, oops, I accidentally clicked it back down, okay. And also make sure these screws are out all the way, looks like they are. Okay, I don't know why these clips are always so difficult, but they are. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start here, kind of pulling this up a little, and then this piece kind of comes up a tiny bit, okay? As you can see in the back, and then what you can do, you can get in there and push this down as you're kind of pulling it towards yourself, okay? And there we go, those all unclipped. So here you can see we got this all unclipped, and then these are always going to be a pain. I'm going to try if I can pull this bar this way now that I got it unlatched, and maybe that will pull these clips away from there. So it did work on one, okay. Is this screw still? No, it's out. Okay, so I'm pulling this out this way. You don't want to pull too hard because it might crack this, so be careful, but that seemed to work. All right, so there you go. All right, and we got the bottom cover off. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're going to replace the hard drive here. But here you can see there's another battery. If you were wondering why in the beginning I said we got the first battery out. Here you can see there's a second battery in here, okay, 2.095 amp hours, all right. So 2095 milliamp hours. This battery is actually a little bit larger than the other one. And here are the part numbers here. SB10K97578 and then FRU part number. I don't know what those mean, but 01AV421. Okay, there's some dust on the fan, so I'm just going to clean that off a little. Alright, there's 2 slots for RAM. A lot of people ask me if I don't point it out. I don't know. I guess a lot of people aren't too good with kind of visualizing what's kind of matching patterns. But anyways, let's clean this up. Here you can see the holes here where the liquid kind of go through, one on this side and then one over here. Okay, so if you spill on your keyboard, just leave it and let the liquid drain through. If you spilled something sticky, you can actually flush it out with water. You can pour like clean water through the keyboard and it will drain through, okay? So if water goes into here, it'll actually drain through. I don't know if it will damage the keyboard, so I don't want to risk pouring water in it just to test that. I did have one laptop that I had before that I actually had that feature, and I poured water through it and it worked fine. Again, you don't want to flip it over, because if you flip it over, so the bottom cover actually has these things to kind of let the water kind of funnel through, but if water is in here and you flip it over, the water can get out and go around onto the motherboard. So yeah, you don't want to do that. Anyways, as for the RAM, you can pull these two tabs to the side, it will pop out like that, and then you can go ahead and pull this out just like every other model with RAM laptop. All right, so PC4 2666V, it's 8 gigs. I don't know why my camera thing is so laggy, but hopefully it's not laggy for you guys. You can put any PC4 2666V RAM, should be fine. Basically DDR4. Sometimes you can get different speeds and it'll work fine, but I try and stick with the same speed just to make sure. Okay, and then to put the RAM back, you have to put it at an angle like this. All right, I like to kind of wobble it while I'm kind of pushing it in, and then click it down, just like that. All right. You can also add an extra stick. If you have 2 matching sticks, the computer will actually run a bit faster. So there is that. Okay, you got the fan here with the fan connector there. Okay, if you want to check the fan model number, I'll just show it there. I'm not going to read it off. You can pause and read that. Okay, you got this connector here for the battery, and this connector you kind of grab and just kind of wiggle it and it'll pull out. The plastic, the black part will come out. This metal piece is actually part of the motherboard, so be careful not to rip that out. All right, there's some extra connectors here. I'm not sure what these are for. One says JNFC, so maybe a NFC reader, and then JSC1, I don't know what that's for. Okay, you got the LCD Lvds connector here. There's a little flip metal latch that's latched over it. Okay, usually I use my fingernail and just flip it up. CMOS, BIOS, RTC, real-time clock battery here. Okay, what else we got? You got this smaller connector, most likely for the webcam and the microphone, things like that. Okay, then you got this little connector, which I'm not sure what that's for. Oh, the power. It says J power, so I'm guessing that's for the power button. There's a SIM card slot here, it looks like. And then you got this connector for the hard drive. Same thing, has this latch. I'm probably going to leave that attached. Then you got 2 connectors here. One is FPR, so fingerprint reader. I think this fingerprint reader, and then JCP1. I don't know what that is. Maybe keyboard and trackpad. Right? Then you got this connector down here for the speaker. Sorry if I'm going out of view of the camera. The speaker cable runs all the way along here and then connects the other speaker. And then they have this slot here for, I think, a WAN card. It says JTAG JTAG 2. I don't know. Wireless card is here. All right, if you need to replace that for any reason, there's one screw. When you remove it, it pops up like the RAM. You can take it out. To remove these connectors, you pull up from the tail. Don't try and pry up from the front or you'll break them easily. I have videos showing that on a lot of different model computers, how to remove those wireless antennas. So it can be a little bit risky sometimes because sometimes the solder's not done right. So I try not to remove stuff I don't need to because, yeah, there is risk involved. And I've had a few times, like maybe twice in all the thousands of computers I worked on, where it ripped the connector off because the connector wasn't soldered well. Anyways, we're going to remove this hard drive. It's a 2.5-inch SATA. We're going to upgrade it to a 2.5-inch SATA SSD. All right. And what you do is you push this inwards because there's a little clip. And then once you do that, you can swing it upwards. Be careful because it is attached here. So I'm going to actually use my fingernail here to pop this connector off. So I use my thumbnail and I kind of like twist it like this. Okay. So I get it in the corner here, and then the back of my nail pushes against the hard drive here when I rotate it like that. And as you can see, it pops out like this. Oh, I might have to do it from the bottom down here. There's not much room. There we go. Just like that. And then same thing with the top one here, and there we go. We got the hard drive out. Okay, this is a 2.5-inch SATA hard disk drive, spinning drive. We're gonna pop this thing off. We don't need to transfer this foil over. You can if you want. If you're using a spinning drive, maybe you'll want to, but for the regular hard, or for an SSD, you don't really need to worry about that because it's all encased in metal anyways. All right. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and pop this onto here. So you kind of just line it up and pop it on. Okay, there's no screws, it just pops into place. Okay, just like this, and just like that, and just like that. All right, now we got that all in. Here you can see the little latch that I was talking about that we're kind of pushing inwards. You can also use this grab tab to pull it and then lift it up, but yeah, all right. Anyways, we're gonna lift this connector up slightly and connect the hard drive. What you want to do is hold the connector still and then push the drive into place. All right, don't try and push it this way. There we go. Then we're gonna swing this in so the front goes in first, and then we slowly drop this down into place, and this thing clicks into place. If you just pull straight up, you can see it's enough to lift the whole laptop, but if you pull over to the side and then lift it, you can see it lifts out the drive. Okay, so there we go, we got that, and I think that's pretty much all there is to show inside the computer that I'm going to show. CPU is soldered to the motherboard. A lot of people ask me, where's the CPU, can they upgrade it, things like that. So yeah, all right, anyways, we're going to zoom out again. We're going to put the bottom cover back on, and then we're going to be, that should be it, we're good to go. We'll put the battery back as well, of course. All right, so we're going to drop this down into place. And we can go ahead and click this in first because that's what we took out last, and then we can do these. So we'll do it in the opposite order of how we popped it out. And there we go. Then we're just going to put these screws back in. You do want to be careful working on this model because if you don't remove the other battery, usually if you're working on like the LCD, Lvds connector, screen connectors, anything like that, after you disconnect the batteries, you want to press and hold the power button for 15 seconds to drain any residual power. If you don't, there's a good chance you'll damage the screen or the backlight circuit. So hopefully you guys kind of either know what you're doing or you watch this video before doing anything. Maybe I need to start saying in the beginning, watch the entire videos before attempting repairs if you don't know what you're doing. But yeah. All right, so there we go. Let's go ahead and get these last few screws in, and there we go. Usually if you're careful and you don't really touch any metal things together, you should be fine. Okay, so we're gonna put this battery back on in, and then this should go back into place on its own, and then make sure it's all locked. And we're just gonna power it up now, make sure it turns on and boots, and we should be good to go. So power it up. Okay, I see the Lenovo, and we should see the little thing spinning, and then we should be good. All right, so that's pretty much it for that. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure again to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Let's drop this. Bye.